Hello everyone, and welcome back to another week of Sabbath School Nuggets. Now, before we begin, I want to say thank you to Seth for leading out in last week's study, Sharing God's Mission. This week's lesson is entitled, God's Call to Mission. Now, our memory text for this week comes from Isaiah 6 and 8. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And then I said, "Here am I, send me." Our memory text for this week reminds us that all of us are called by God to do something for God. Now notice how Isaiah responds when God calls. "Here I am, send me." It's based on this one word, hinene. Here I am, I'm at your service. No complaints, no reservations, no terms or conditions, no limits or hesitations. Friend, you are called by God to do something for God. The question is, how will you respond? You see, your job as a Christian is to respond to your calling. Now, here's the thing. Everybody responds to the call of God. Now, when I say everybody responds, that doesn't mean everybody accepts the call, well, like Isaiah did. Let me be clear. You've been called, and in some way, shape, or form, you've already responded. Some people will embrace the call, while others, unfortunately, ignore or avoid the call. This week, we're going to look at how different people responded to God's call by looking at the ways in which Jonah responded to God when he called him. Which brings us to Sunday's lesson. And here we find one of the most common responses people have when God calls them, and that is, well, to turn and run. And that is exactly what Jonah did. He turned tail and he ran as fast as he could in the opposite direction. You know the story. Jonah heads for the seaport of Joppa, and he books a passage on a ship headed for Tarshish, a city that is some 3,200 kilometers away. It was as far away as a person could get from Nineveh. And really, who could blame him? I mean, after all, God just asked Jonah to go and tell one of the most powerful and violent nations on the planet that in 40 days, the city of Nineveh and everybody in it would be destroyed. Now, if you were Jonah, would you want to risk your life to tell a group of people they were going to be destroyed? The people of Nineveh were more likely to kill you than to believe you. And the truth is, more of us would be afraid to go to a city like Nineveh. Here's why this week's lesson is so important. Because you know that Jesus is coming again. And when he does, the world as we know it is going to be destroyed along with everybody on it. That means some 8 billion people could die if we don't get that message out. So why don't we? Well, the lesson suggests that one of the reasons is fear. But is that the only reason? Well, we're going to be talking about that more in the days to come. But before we go, ask yourself, does your church have a mission that it is actively pursuing? Well, that was our nugget for today. Thanks for stopping by. Study your lesson, and I'll see you tomorrow.